Bum, bum, bum. Here we are. What's the date? 9/11. Okay. Remember 9/11 back in the day when this happened? Well, let's talk about that quickly and then we'll see what's that got to do with aggressive health and the aggressive health news on the 11th of the 9th, 2020. Well, the interesting thing at the moment is that, when we look at health, the more you delve into the subject of health, the more you start to see truth and the more you start to see lies. Okay. And then also you see information, which again, I'll come back to it time and time again with what's going on right now in our world. How many times have you heard our government officials saying, hey, listen up, guys, it's time to really support your immune system. It's your immune system that what counts. Do everything you can to support your immune system. Avoid everything that detracts from your immunity. And you might be one of those 99 point or whatever it was yesterday, very high percentage of people who actually can coexist in a world with this, viral onslaught. But nowhere is that to be seen. So the question is why? Why is that the case? And then all of a sudden the door starts to open up to, corporations, to profit, the pharmaceutical industry, and all manner of things which some people deem conspiracy. But when you look into it, the facts are very real. So looking back, on 9/11, and obviously the terrible amount, the number of people that died was horrific. But what's interesting is that there's a presentation which, I'm telling you right now, you will find this fascinating, incredibly fascinating. This woman here, Dr. Judy Wood, if you just go to YouTube and you type in Dr. Judy Wood, you'll see Dr. Judy Wood, Where Did the Towers Go? She wrote an amazing book, but basically a researcher asking the right questions and getting answers. Things like this. If we go over to her website here, go back, and this is her opening statement. So this should really get your interest. The towers didn't burn up, nor did they slam to the ground. Okay, and I'll tell you a little bit more about it in a sec. They turned mostly to dust in the air. So where did the towers go? And then you see here, if the towers had slammed to the ground, there would be a pile of rubble left over. Now think about that. Think how tall these towers were, and then how little rubble was left. Okay, as she says there, didn't happen. There's another thing that she got. She got the readings. There's always readings being taken, apparently, to see whether or not there's any kind of, seismic activity, earthquakes, etc. And when these buildings tumbled to the ground, we all remember seeing that on the news. The detection of what happened was like this, like hardly anything. And so she goes into incredible detail. In fact, let's just go back there. You can see at the top of this picture. Remember, this is drjudywood.com. You can see these towers, see how tall they are. I don't know if you ever watched that film where the guy tight-roped across the towers. Brilliant film, especially in 3D. But it's like, where is all the rubble? And look at how tall this tower is, and then where was the rubble? It's amazing when you actually stop and think about it. Now, I watched a lot of videos to do with 9/11 before this one, so I was kind of, if you move on to the next slide, it says, this is to do with, was this the other? World Trade Center snowball. About 70 stories of the building have turned into dust. The tower is being peeled downward. Dark explosions shoot up, while white ones explode outward. Above the white cloud, the building has vanished, while the lower part awaits termination. I actually don't really understand that myself. But here, this is what society thinks happened. There was a fire and the towers came down. This is what, like the conspiracy theories. There was bombs. Things were planted in there. Bum, 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 and the whole thing. And then what really happened, based on her research, asking questions, looking at what happened, dustification. It was literally turned to dust. Now, when someone said that to me, what? Or when she was talking about what? But when you watch it and you look at it and you go, well, actually, what you're saying with my naked eye actually appears like it was, it's true. As WTC2 is destroyed, disintegrating steel wheat checks showered down on WTC3, the Marriott Hotel. Okay. But in a nutshell, this is so fascinating. She wrote a book. In fact, her book was called Where Did the Towers Go? But you can see there's like a 2-hour presentation. It's fascinating. In fact, it's probably something I'd like to watch again at some point. But the reason I think it's so fascinating is truth. It's from my perspective, call me a conspiracy theorist, but when you look at what's happened in the monetary system, you look at 2008, you look at the what happened in Iceland. Everyone knows about the banks and the crooked banksters. You look at what happened here. You start to follow the money trail and how much these buildings were insured for, and you look at people who had shorted the airline stocks the day before this happened, and then obviously when this happened, the airline stocks plummeted. People making how would people guess that? There's some very suspicious goings on, but again, when you listen to her, she doesn't talk about any of that kind of stuff. She just talks about the nuts and bolts of, like, here we have two giant buildings and then they were turned to dust. Where's all the rubble? Why were there no readings, on the on the earthquake monitor type thing, if you like? But, it's not like as simple as what I've just made it then. She's got like 2-hour presentation. So here we are, 9/11, and you want the truth. And this, you listen to something like this, it starts to make you question what's really going on in the world. And I'm sure if you're watching this video, you might be along that kind of same kind of lines anyway. So, Dr. Judy Wood, she actually came to Milton Keynes. I actually didn't see her, which was a bit of a shame, but I've watched her presentations a number of times, and a few years ago now. But I always think at this time of the year, it's always good to look back. If we can open people's eyes to actually what went on, it makes people start to question other things and start to look at other things, such as vaccines. Vaccines Revealed, episode 3 is live. Here we've got Robert Kennedy Jr. I haven't seen this one today, but I've watched this one before. If you saw any of yesterday's news, you would have heard him speak. But again, you listen to the guy for an hour. This is what's fascinating. Again, I say this many times. When you listen to someone who's in the trenches and who can talk on a subject with detail for an hour, and then you hear what your sort of friends and family think, you kind of like, I think I'll go with the guy that really knows and has been fighting this battle for many, many years. So that's Vaccines Revealed. If you want to access Vaccines Revealed, just go over to aggressivehealthshop.com. There's a drop-down bar, and you'll see a button over here. I can't see the button at the moment because I've already seen it twice today, and you can only see it twice in one day. So that's that. And what else is going on? Well, this video, obviously, I post up to Instagram. You can see yesterday's one here. The Vimergy competition is still in full swing. Living Libations discount code will be over very shortly. And that, my friends, is the news of the day. So, enjoy. Head on back. Check out Dr. Judy Wood. If you're not one for watching videos, but you want to read a great book, go to go to Amazon. Type in "Where Did the Towers Go?" Dr. Judy Wood, and you'll find a very, very small book. Now, it's a monster. I've not read it. I'm all about watching the videos and the presentation. So enjoy. Have a good weekend. We'll catch up with you next week.